So United are out of the FA Cup and 14th in the Premier League. This season is over, bar a Europa League miracle. And they are the facts. Now let me pick apart what happened against Fulham and discuss the bright spark of Chido Obi, who showed he really does deserve more opportunities. I think we need him, because boy, right now, looking for positives at this club is beyond clutching at straws. It's like trying to catch smoke. Yep, another game. Yep, another tough watch for United. We didn't get the result at the end of this one. And we crashed out of the FA Cup. What I'm going to do in this video is run through what I would say the 5 biggest takeaways. I'm going to speak about Chido. I'm going to speak about Zirkzee. I'm going to speak about Ligt, the set piece defending, Onana, and a couple of more things. And you can let me know what you think in the comments below. Are there any sort of, you can call them positives if you want, but sort of sparks that you can try and take forward to Sociedad? And right now, let's be honest, it's tough. It really, really is. But number one on my list here, I think, is just a realisation from me that I don't think this is really going to largely change at any point this season. You know how you go between game to game, and the way that I'm just explaining the way that I look for progression in the team. I'm looking for United to simply just be a couple of % better each game. Build on that. See if you can improve on it next. But right now, it's just going to be a case of, look, if we go through against Sociedad, it'll be fantastic. But I don't think that that will lead to a spark, which means United all of a sudden dominate the rest of the season. I think if we do go through against Sociedad, which is a big ask, we'll probably revert to character against Arsenal in the league. And even if we beat Arsenal in the league, I just can't see United being sustainable in terms of getting results and performances week in, week out between now and the end of the season. It's going to be a roller coaster until the summer, where Amrim, of course, should be in charge of our club. And then we see what happens in the summer, and then we move forward to next season. But in terms of the bright spark from that game, it absolutely was Chido Obi, as far as I'm concerned anyway. And the reason I'm saying he was a bright spark is because of how dark and muted it has been with our attackers this season. Now, he may not have scored yesterday, but the reason I'm saying that he brought some positivity wasn't really about the goals. It was about, A, how well I thought he adapted. B, bear in mind, I don't think he really touched the ball in the first 20 minutes. That there was a great chance that he created himself. It was actually a pretty damn good save. Now, one thing I was worried about Chido, the reason I've got this photo up here, I was worried about that Chido, throughout his whole career so far, has had a massive physical advantage around the defenders and teams he's played with in academy sides. And I was thinking, how is he going to cope coming up into Premier League football against Premier League opposition and FA Cup football? Cope completely fine. Against Bassi, against Anderson, he held his own. He held his ground. He wasn't just shoved off the ball. There was one point where he just completely shoved Bassi off the ball as well. And, well, he spooned it wide, but it was, as much as his physicality was something that I was impressed with, it was his creativity himself. And that chance that he made there, the one that was saved by Leno, it was kind of a ball that went over the top that was kind of a half chance at best. The reason it turned into a chance is because he anticipated it. He made the move. He got in front of his defender. He held his defender off. He opened his body up and created the chance. That's what I liked. And that, for me, was probably the biggest positive. To see him creating chances out of half chances. And that's just something that Højlund hasn't done enough of this season. Do I think that he is guaranteed to start against Sociedad? No, I do not. Do I think it might be part of Ruben Amrim's thinking? I absolutely do. I don't know whether he will. I think you're probably more likely to see him come on at half-time. But I was impressed by it, which isn't particularly hard given United's attackers this season. Of course, he needs to improve. He is still young. He's 17. Unless you're Jamie Jackson and you just want to write him off after a... Yeah, well done, Jamie. I'm going to keep digging you out, mate, because you're digging yourself out. Anyway, Zirkzee. I want to have a quick comment about Zirkzee because he was... inconsolable is a bit of a strong word, but after the game yesterday, after the penalty miss, he was there getting basically consoled by all Fulham players, by United's players. Amrim comes over. There he is. Good timing. Look, Zirkzee, man, it wasn't your fault. B, I thought Zirkzee, from a technical perspective, is like leaps and bounds above the players around him. That little exchange with Obi had sort of left the ball. Zirkzee left the ball to Obi. Obi passed it back to him. Then it was a chop back, and then the pass to Garnacho. And it was I think he just caught it on the wrong foot. Would have been an incredible goal. His fitness is definitely sharpening up. It's still, I think, some way off. But he is grafting more than most of these players. He's trying to adapt. He's putting absolutely everything in. So I felt a little bit sorry for him. But his penalty miss may have been the reason that we lost the game in that particular moment, but it wasn't the reason why we lost that game. That wasn't down to Zirkzee. Somebody who I definitely think deserves some plaudits from yesterday is Ligt. I've said it whilst watching it, and it just as you settle back on it, you won't really look at a game where you got knocked out of the FA Cup to Fulham I'm not looking at it as a positive sense, but you can't just completely dismiss the performance of Ligt because we went out on penalties. I thought in playing as the wide centre-back, he was very aggressive, he was brave, he was making tackles high up the pitch, he was bringing that, because that's what your centre-backs have to do, and fingers crossed, I would say when this Amram system is flowing, you're going to need your two wide centre-backs to really support the press. Otherwise, you're just going to leave loads of gaps. And his passing was pretty bob on. So, yeah, I think it was probably his best performance in United shirt. But something that is killing me, it has been killing me all season, is the speed of United's play. It is absolutely painful. And Andre Onana is a part of that. A big part of that. Basically, well, United's whole defences. But every time he has the ball and he sort of holds it, you can hear the frustration in Old Trafford as to why he's not moving it faster, why has he got his foot on the ball instead of trying to find a teammate and zip it quickly. And I said this in the live show this morning, that I feel that that's one of the biggest things that has been missing from us all season, is how slow we play. When you play any style of football at 2 miles an hour, it's quite easy to play against. When you get used to something and you do it more and more, you train more and more, you get more and more confident, you do it faster. Really weird analogy, but I don't know. When I was living in London, I used to cycle to work every single day. I did the same route. And every single day I did it and I was running on London roads, you're just a bit more confident. You've already done it 20 times before, so you can do it a little bit faster. I don't know why that analogy sort of came into my head. But the lack of United's urgency in playing out from the back has been brutal this season. That is, it's hard to define what United's biggest problem is. Because why not speak about the set-piece defending? Because that was absolutely, again, atrocious. United losing the first ball, United in the way that we are defending, whether it's the fact that it is zonal and that's a problem, I don't quite know. But the fact that at the back post, Mazraoui, because of his body position, couldn't anticipate that knockdown Bassi was anticipating, won it. It's just like schoolboy stuff. And I think that's the 13th set piece that we've conceded this season, which is the most out of any team. It's just a big problem that hasn't been addressed all season. And I don't know what's going to address it now, randomly in March, that hasn't been addressed since the start of the season. I don't quite know. But yeah, for sure, the bright spark I'm taking away from that game is the fact that I think Amram can look at Chido and say, okay, so you can hold your own physically. You can create chances out of half chances. The goal isn't there, but that will come in time. Fundamentals are more important than goals. Oh, maybe that's a bit of a... Fundamentals are just as important as goals. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. This football club, man.